Hello, hello, 'tis I, Julian Greystoke, indie author and the person whose video you're watching right now. I didn't have an ending to that sentence. Today I have these chocolate-covered pretzels, and I am just gonna do a little video today, and many of you may know that I am a self-published author, have been for a while, have several books out. You can find them all now on Amazon. But as a self-published author, I thought it would be interesting to just talk about some of my favorite and least favorite things about being self-published. This is not a list of the best and worst things. This is not a list of why you should or shouldn't be self-published. This is literally just my own personal experiences with being self-published and what I like and don't like. You can decide for yourself whether you like or don't like those things, and also many people who are self-published might not have had many of the experiences that I had. It's a whole weird world of being self-published. Not everybody goes about it the same way, not everybody comes at it from the same angles that I did, so yes, I am self-published exclusively through Amazon. I know it's Amazon evil, but sometimes you have to make a deal with the devil if you want to get your book out there, and Amazon is the cheapest and easiest way to do so. Get my books into both print and digital versions, and even an opportunity for an audiobook. As much as I hate that, it's also a thing. That counts as one of the things that I like and don't like, all rolled into one. So what's something that I like about being self-published? Well, one of the things is that I make my own timelines. I am my own boss, and that means that I get to decide how fast or how slow a book comes out. Now that might seem like that might make there be more pressure, but I allow it to take a lot of pressure off of myself. The book takes as long as it takes. I don't ever plan ahead and be like, I'm publishing my next book in July, and no matter what happens, I have to have that book ready by July. I let the book take as long as it takes, and when the book is ready, then I publish it. Now maybe that throws off my marketing a little bit, but I don't care because it is much better for my mental health to be able to follow the book's schedule, if you will, instead of anyone else's, or keeping it rigid or having a lot of heavy expectations on myself. But if you're one of those people who likes deadlines, you can do that when you're self-publishing as well. Make yourself a deadline and stick to it. Self-publishing has a lot of freedom for how you schedule your books, drafting, editing, and release. What's something I don't like about being self-published? Well, one of the things that I don't like is having to either hire out or gain skills for myself for every single part of the publishing process. Now, some of it can be fun, but a lot of it is a little bit stressful, at least for me. For example, I hire people to do my editing and my cover a lot of the time. Sometimes I make my covers myself, but I also often hire cover designers. So those are two things that I have to outsource. Something I've decided that I'm not going to outsource is formatting. So I am teaching myself how to format a book, both the digital and the print version. And it is an ongoing learning process, and I make a lot of mistakes, and there are formatting issues probably still in some of my books. Feel free to point them out for me if you notice them. I would love to have help noticing those things, because sometimes when you've created the book, you don't notice it. So do let me know. But as I am completely self-taught to format my own books, yeah, it can be a little bit frustrating and nerve-wracking. So having to figure out other people to do all of those elements, whereas if you were going through a publisher, they would just hook you up with those people, is not one of my favorite things. However, on the flip side, something that I enjoy about being a self-published author is the control that I have. If I don't like the cover, I just redesign it. I personally work with the cover creator, and if there's an element that I don't like, I can contact the artist and ask them to tweak something. The same goes for choosing my editor. If I wasn't satisfied with my editor's performance on my book, I can go find another one. It allows me a lot of freedom to find my own resources and decide what I'm doing myself versus what I'm outsourcing, instead of being locked in and forced to have whatever cover the publisher wants, sometimes even have whatever title the publisher wants. I like to be able to choose from my book. I like to be able to make decisions from my book. One of the big things that I don't like about self-publishing is, you knew this was coming, having to market myself, because you have to. When I published my very, very first book, my debut, which was a novella called Phoenix, it is still available. It's just, an earlier work of mine. It's a little bit crunchy. I fully believed that if I just put a book out into the world, somebody was bound to stumble across it just through sheer luck. That is not the case. Nobody just stumbles across books anymore. If they ever did. If you want your book to have any kind of success, you're going to have to market it. And I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of helpful tips for marketing. One of the places that I get most of my readers from is here on my YouTube channel. And I have been working at this YouTube channel for over 7 years. So this is not a quick fix type of scenario. So I highly recommend, if you are going to be publishing a book, that you start marketing as soon as possible. And I don't just mean marketing the book. I mean marketing yourself. Especially in self-publishing, the world wants to know you. And yes, in traditional publishing as well, we're seeing it more and more. And unfortunately, you don't avoid having to market yourself with traditional publishing. So while it is something that I hate that I have to do, I kind of know that I would have to be doing it anyway. So I've kind of just surrendered, and I do my best. What am I doing out here? My best. What's something else I love about self-publishing? That I don't have to write to the market if I don't want to. There's no such thing as dead genres in self-publishing. Publishers are going to be picky, they're going to be looking for trends, and if your book doesn't match exactly what they're looking for, they're going to toss it aside and pick the next thing that does get closer to what they're looking for. Whereas if you self-publish, you can write the books that you want to write. You want to write a superhero book, but superheroes have been a dead genre, quote unquote, a dead genre in traditional publishing for ages. It's not dead here in self-publishing, so write that superhero book. You get to write the books that you want at the pace that you want, and you don't have to worry, unless you want to. I don't worry, and I don't make myself worry about whether these books are going to be like following market trends. Now, again, this is just me and what I like. You can totally follow those market trends as a self-published author, but you have the freedom not to. What's something I don't like about being self-published? Well, because of the whole marketing issue, reviews are harder to get, and so sometimes those lower star reviews hit harder than they should. I don't mind low star reviews. Of course, anybody is free to leave me whatever type of review they want. I don't read them generally. I try to stay away from my reviews. However, it is a bummer because there are algorithms at play. I wish there weren't. I wish that reviews could just be reviews. But a lot of the low star reviews, because I am self-published and don't have a lot of reviews overall, can drag the book's overall rating down lower than they would if it was a low review and there were like thousands of reviews. Why is that a problem, Julian? Like, be a grown-up and have some self-esteem. It's not a problem except for when it comes to algorithms. So on, say, Amazon, if my book gets low enough in the overall star ratings, Amazon will start to hide it. Like, Amazon's not advertising it, to be clear, but it's not hiding it either. But if it gets too low in those star ratings, Amazon's going to be like, no, this is a terrible book, clearly, even though like 3 stars is not a bad score. Amazon will decide it's a bad book. Make it even harder for people to stumble across on the off chance, on the very off chance that somebody would stumble across it. So that is frustrating because you get so few reviews. Somebody giving you an honest and perfectly reasonable 1-star review is going to drag your score down way more than it would if you were a traditional published author with thousands of reviews. And a disadvantage of being a self-published author is sometimes you have to think about that stuff, and that's annoying. What is something that I love? I love getting to be as asexual as I want with my books. For example, Adventurer Mage. When I was writing Adventurer Mage, I thought perhaps I had to have a romance in it because books have romances in them. And then I remembered, Julian, you're self-published. You can do whatever you want. So I didn't just put one Aro Ace character in this book. I put two, and they're the main characters. And they have a platonic soulmate relationship. And I can write that. I can have as many asexual characters as I want. I don't have to put romance in a book unless I want to. And if you are a fellow LGBTQ creator, it can feel so freeing to not have to keep thinking in the back of your mind, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. It won't sell. Fuck it. You're self-published. Who cares? Write the characters that you want to write. Write characters like you. Write queer characters and write as many of them as you want. Because there's no dead genres in self-published authors. There's a lot of queer readers who are waiting for books like yours that they simply are not getting from traditional publishing, who will be like, all right, we published one gay book this year. Activism achieved. And they would probably never. They probably publish like one asexual book every 5 years or so and call it good, and certainly one that had two ace lead characters would not even be under consideration. So I love that I can be as queer as I want with my books, and no one can stop me. Something I don't like about being self-published, and this is a little bit niche, when you're trying to find connections and other people to work with in the world of publishing. So people to help you with cover designs, character art, editing, that sort of thing. It can be a really daunting process, and if you don't already know somebody, it can feel like really, really difficult. Which, by the way, I did not mean to segue into an ad here, but listen. So I am also, as well as an author, I'm a developmental editor. So if you're looking for one of those and you are feeling extremely daunted by the sheer number of developmental editors out there, hey, you already know me. Maybe come over to my Fiverr and see if we'd be a good fit. Now, I totally understand if we're not. Not every editor and author are gonna be a good fit. Come try it out. But one thing that has happened to me multiple times that I hate is that I will think that I have started to form a relationship with another freelancer, somebody else who's running their own small business like me. Somebody who's just out here in the world looking for artist friends. And I'll think that maybe I'm starting to make a friendship with somebody. Just starting out, maybe we've said a few things to each other online, and then they'll say something out of the blue, unprompted, like, hey, I'd love to do some character art for you. What would you like? That's like the whole message. And so I'll think, oh, because we're friends, they want to do like a little piece of art for me. That's amazing. And so I'll say, oh, I would love if you could do this. And then they'll say, that's great, here's the price. And then I'll have to be the one who's embarrassed and say, oh, I can't afford that right now. I didn't know that we were going into a sale. And I hate that. I hate it so much. And I've encountered it multiple times. And it's just so disingenuous. And I beg you, if you are trying to make sales that way, please stop. Because it is sleazy, in my opinion. It is a crappy thing to do to somebody, in my opinion. I thought that we were maybe forming a friendship, and instead it turned out that you were just trying to sell me something in a really sneaky, backhanded way. You didn't come to me and say, hey, I would love to do you some character art and here are my prices, or I would love to do you some character art and I'll give you a 10% discount. You just said, I'd love to do some character art, what do you want? And then when I tell you, you give me the price, and then I have to look like the jackass and say, oh, I can't afford that right now. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. But let's see if I can end on something that I do like about self-publishing before I finish this video. I'm sure I'll think of more things. Maybe I'll do another video like this. I guess the final thing that I want to talk about that is great about being self-published is that I just feel really accomplished after you see a book through from literal beginning, the spark of the idea, all the way through. You do everything. Obviously, you have to get beta readers and editors and that kind of thing, but sometimes you do your own cover, like I did for Adventurer Mage. You choose everything for it, like we already talked about. Even if you're not doing something yourself, you're choosing who helps you with that thing. So this book is me from beginning to end. And there's something really amazing about that. Now, I'm not saying that people who are traditionally published don't feel that sense of accomplishment. I'm sure they do. But this is just, like I said, a very personal thing. Just being able to walk my book through every single stage from spark of idea to publication, book I can hold in my hand, is a really cool experience. Those were my thoughts. How about you? Are you hoping to be self-published, traditionally published? Are you already self-published or traditionally published? Are you hoping to be a hybrid? I used to want to be a hybrid, but I kind of changed my mind on that since the publishing industry is kind of gone places that I don't love. So I'm quite happy right now. Don't need to wade into that, thank you though. But let me know down below what you are planning to do or are already doing. I want to make it clear there will be no slander for any publishing route that people take in the comments. Let's keep it civil in the comments. You can share what you like, what you don't like, but no bad-mouthing other people, please. Thank you so much for watching. As I mentioned, I am a developmental editor. You can find me in Fiverr. All the links are in my link tree. I also have several published books. As previously mentioned, all of them are available on Amazon right now. And if you want to support me here on this channel and with my publishing journeys, because being a self-published author can be very expensive, and that's probably another thing that I should have mentioned as a thing that I don't love, is how expensive it can be. Definitely save up if you want to be a self-published author. If you want to help me monetarily with all of that, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi, so go check those out. And I will see all of you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye!
I gotta sing the Doom song now! Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah, the world might seem pretty full of doom and gloom. Hey, at least there's patrons. Patrons like Annika, Jen, Gay Tutter, Constantina, Lochnoonga, SB Boots, Martha, July, Bird Anonymous, Sunny Shy, Peregrine, Sarah, Cat, 78 Kilograms of Shade, Veda, Roma, Pansing Pony, Haley, Sam, Kira, Kohikaro, Mooney, Pudimancer, Kirsten, Bear, Jojo Bookish, Robin, Ursula, Caitlin, Jessica, KJ, Lafone, Amanda, Celia, Alyssa, Rita, Deborah, Afra, Melissa, Swamp Goblin Waifu, Sophia, Merween, Kit, Hidden Glade, Light Julie, Belle, Patrick, Anne Sophie, Callison, Shelby, Zaire, Jesper, Rennie, Scribbling Cat, Savvy, Jenny, Amanda, and Lisa. Thanks again for being my amazing patrons and keeping me just this side of doom.
Doom, 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 doom. Ian, ooh, what's that?